Hello everybody, and welcome back to Celejus Plays. I'm Celejus, and we're here again with the Floris Mod Pack in Mount and Blade Warband. Now, last time we went through a whole bunch of trouble trying to set this guy up and get him where we wanted him to be. Getting everything ready for him. So we're finally ready to actually jump into, the game proper. So let's do it. Let's get in there. You came by caravan through the heartland of Calradia. Green shoots of wheat, barley, and oats are beginning to push through the dark soil of the rolling hills, and on the lower slopes of the snow-capped mountains, herds of cattle and sheep are grazing on the spring grass. Occasionally, too, you catch sight of one of the great war horses that are the pride of the Swadian nobility. The land here is rich, but also troubled, as the occasional burnt-out farm bears witness. You keep a wide berth of the forest where desperate men have taken refuge, and it is some relief when you crest a ridge and catch sight of the great port of Praven, its rooftops made golden by the last rays of the setting sun. So, this is a little bit gamey, but I actually did not start in the Khergit homelands, and that was for good reason, because the bandits in the Khergit homelands are pretty... They're not really hard, but for, when you first start out, because they're all mounted, they're kind of difficult, because a lot of the low-level units are not mounted. So it can be kind of troublesome. So what we're going to do is we're going to start out in Swadia, which is a different country, I guess you'd say. And we're going to try our luck there. See, it should be a little easier, although the forest bandits can be pretty hardcore themselves. We shall see, though. In any case, let's get in there. You are exhausted by the time you find an inn in Praven and fall asleep quickly. However, you awake before dawn and are eager to explore your surroundings. You venture out into the streets, which are still deserted. All of a sudden, you hear a sound that stands the hairs of your neck on end. The rasp of a blade sliding from its scabbard. Oh boy, here we go. This is actually like the traditional Mount and Blade opener. Some newer mods actually don't start you like this. This is actually kind of like the intro to a little opening quest. A tutorial quest, really, if I'm being honest. But we'll do it. We'll do this little starting quest. It's a pretty good time. Hopefully don't get busted here. If you were wondering what this game is, it's essentially a medieval combat simulator at its heart and soul. What do I have? What is this? Is this a lance? Oh, jeez. What? Whoa. Where? Oh, jeez. Already getting robusted. Don't. There we go. That's right. Don't hit me. Oh, he's got a shield. Do I have a shield? I do not. Oh! Yeah! That's a pretty good shield. I wanna take his stuff. I can't take his stuff. Oh well. That's fine. We'll get plenty of stuff later on. This is Ulrich Fugger. I'm sure he introduces himself. He comes up to me and is like, I'm Ulrich Fugger. Are you all right? Well, I guess you're alive at any rate. I'm not sure that we can say the same for our other fellow. That's one less thief to trouble our streets at night, although heaven knows he won't be the last. Anyway, maybe you can help me with something. Let's talk more inside. Out here, we don't know who's listening. Ooh. The merchant takes you to his house. Once inside, he stands by the door while checking the street, and then finally, convinced you have not been followed, comes near you to speak. Yep, sure did. Okay, so we're in his house. He's got a nice little house. Nice little house. Can we get out of his house? He's got a basement? It's kind of neat. I cannot get out of his house. Rude. So rude. But we'll talk to him. Ulrich Fugger. Fugger? I don't know. Now, let me explain my proposition. We've always had brigands in the hills, driven to banditry by war, debt, or love of violence. Recently, however, they've been getting bolder, leaving their camps in the wild and venturing into town, looking for unwary prey. The watch commander tells us it's because of all the fighting on the frontiers, fewer men to keep an eye on the streets. But I'm not sure what to make of that. It seems to me that the most logical explanation is that these bandits have an ally inside the walls, who helps them enter unnoticed and helps them identify particularly tempting targets. Last week, you see, they took my brother. I don't know what my brother was thinking, a lad from a prominent house, out alone after dark in times like these. Well, I suppose you were too, but you're a stranger here, and didn't know how bad things have become. He had no such excuse, but he's family, so what can you do? If you don't protect your kin, then people will start thinking that you can't protect your investments either, and I can't have that. No doubt the gang will soon send word about a ransom, but I don't care to pay it. So, here's my proposition. You look like you've had a bit of experience with the blade, and more importantly, you must have a bit of fire in your belly or you wouldn't be coming to Calradia to seek your fortune. So here's what I'm asking you to do. Gather a small party, track down these bandits to their lair, teach them a lesson they won't forget, and get my brother back safe. In return, you'll earn my lasting gratitude and a bit of silver. What do you say? I think I'm interested. You won't be able to do this by yourself, though. If you try and take on the whole gang single-handedly, the hunter will become the hunted, I'll warrant. You'll first want to round up a group of volunteers. There's always a few lads in the villages around here looking for a bit of work that's more interesting than tilling the soil or hauling water. They'll follow you off if you pay. So, take this purse of 100 dinars, consider it an advance in your reward, go around to the villages, and use the money to hire some help. I'll reckon that you need at least 5 men to take on these bandits. Well, that sounds good, Ulrich. I'll probably get more folks if I can. We'll see, though. See who's brave enough to give it a go. Very good, sir. I'll collect some men from around the villages. That's a silly hat. Good. You can find me again in the tavern here in Praven after you've got your group together. Then we'll speak about what to do next. All right. You've taken your first quest, yada yada. I already know all that. So we're going to kind of skip through that. We're going to go out. It's Praven. King Harlouse is there. He's got a bunch of dudes. There's little letters like next to the... I can't really point to them with the mouse or it goes away. The numbered letter next to the name of the unit is unique to this mod pack, and it actually signifies their position on the troop tree, as well as what kind of unit they are. So, your basic recruit is going to be an I-1, or an infantry 1. And it goes all the way up to 7. So, you can progress up and upgrade them from an infantry to, say, an archer 2. A is archer, C is cavalry. If we find any H, that's horse archers. And it goes kind of like that. So if you can see an A6 or if you see like a C7, that's a very advanced unit. They're very expensive. They're generally speaking also very hard to get up to that level without dying. But once you do get them there, they are quite powerful. So it's definitely something to strive for. But yeah, we're actually going to go... Okay, yes, I'm on the overlay map. We're going to go back into Praven. And there's some stuff here that we're kind of want to take a look at. Mostly the marketplace for right now. What do we got in our pack? We got basically nothing. Oh, jeez. We got a polearm and a boar spear and a sword, but we don't want either of those. Can we get a lance? Do we want a lance? We can't afford that lance. Even if we sell all of this stuff, we can't afford that lance. Do we want to sell the shield? Also, forgive me if I'm a little sniffly. I got the allergies are wreaking havoc with me right now. Practice bow. Not the best, not the worst. Do we want to sell the shields? We're probably, yeah. We want to get rid of the sword, too. Can't even use the shield right now because we don't have any points in shield. Might keep the spear if we can't get a lance. Grommet arrows. We want something like this. We want like a two-handed weapon. Although I don't know if we want this one in particular. Dagger. Don't want a dagger. Darts. Don't want darts. Volgue's too expensive. So we might have to go with this old rusty Volge. I think that's how you say it. Give that a go. Do we want to get some... No, those are too expensive. All these arrows are so expensive. I'll probably find, some on somebody. I'll keep the boar spear just in case. Probably won't end up needing it. We lost 94 dinars. And that's actually an interesting thing. So the way this works, things go back and forth between the two, and it actually shows you kind of who owes what based on all the trading that's gone on. So it's actually entirely possible to buy a bunch of stuff, but then give them a bunch of stuff and have this actually come out to no real money changing hands, so to speak. So in a way, you can kind of barter your way through the game. It's pretty cool that way. Here's all our kind of like armor stats, which is convenient. We don't have the best armor in the game. Some head armor is better than none, right? But this is a very silly outfit. You can also, buy armor, obviously. 33,728 dinars. We have 31. So about 10,000 times what we have available to us. All of this stuff is actually very... We can't really afford anything here, if I'm being completely honest. Yeah, like these are... Well, that is actually better than what we have. These are worth $1. That's not really worth it, honestly. Let's hit the tavern. The tavern is kind of an interesting thing. It's where you go to see if you can find who's this guy? Tavern is where you go. You can find mercenaries here. What? Oh, I thought that was me for a second, but then I was like, no, that can't be me. That's the merchant that we were talking to earlier for our quest. But you can find all kinds of interesting people here who can like teach you things, or there's special merchants that'll show up in here. And then there's companions who are hero units. They're not like your standard unit. They don't die if they get knocked out in combat. They just are unconscious. And when they level up, you can actually specialize their skills like you would yourself. So I think he's one of them. And poor Gazwan. Greetings, my friend. Can I interest you, a fine young man like yourself, in any of my small wares? Gaz wants the name, your merchant for these barren streets. I can get you the best prices for anything, or guide you anywhere you like, for the right price, of course. Perhaps, but aren't you looking a bit posh for a common street merchant? You're the first one in a long time to notice, to really see my appearance. Everyone just shoves me away or buys a small trinket and forgets me in an instant, but not you, I reckon. You must have the eyes of a hawk to spot my grace beneath the layer of dirt that life on the street has brought me. I used to live in a palace the size you've never seen before, nor ever will. Rude. My father ruled all the oases south of the Serenid lands, where peace and prosperity were in the strong contrast to all the constant warfare that dominates Calradia. Unfortunately, too, all good things come to an end. The oasis dried up, and all the water disappeared in the hot sand, taking all sense and sensibility with it. Everywhere fights broke out, and the country collapsed. As my father drank the last drop available, the people turned against him. Soon the palace was turned to dust, and the Sultanate was a distant memory. A little servant managed to smuggle me out in the chaos, only to die shortly after bringing me to this place. Ever since, I grew up on the street, selling whatever I can to get my hands on. Despite your bad luck as a child, I see you've grown to be a fine merchant. Absolutely. Not many nobles can claim to be a man of the people as I can. I have seen the world through the eyes of the poor, but with my blue-blooded senses to guide me, my expertise is unique, as were the wares I have to offer. You know what, my friend? If you'll allow me, I shall show you the land in a way you've never seen before. We'll travel from village to town, crossing the lands with wares you've never laid your eyes upon before. That sounds like a wonderful experience. Ooh, let's see. Now, Radamesh is a Khergit raider, and I don't know if this guy would be too okay with caravan raiding, which is a thing we're definitely gonna do. But we might take him on. I tend to rise in larynx, not lower myself to the poor. Our ways will have to part here. You know what? We'll take him in. A merchant is actually always kind of good to have. You know, and I think Radamesh, even as a Khergit, I think he realizes that it might be useful. I mean, he's obviously pursuing a strange path for a Khergit. So let's take this guy on. He wants... Well, okay, my friend, you are great. Praise the heavens. Now, if you could buy this small trinket from me for the mere sum of 5,000 dinars, you'll seal our agreement and show me your trust. Sorry, I can't afford that at the moment. Yeah, he wants 5,000 dinars. He better be incredible. I do need other people, but I think I spent all my money. So we might have to come back to the tavern. We might have to come back to the tavern a little bit later, and I think we spent actually all the money we were supposed to use to recruit dudes. So, that might be a bit of a problem. I think, though, that's probably going to be it for this time. So, next time we'll venture out into the wide, wonderful world of Calradia. All of this, all of that. We'll venture out into the wild, green yonder, and make a name for ourselves. But for now, thanks for tuning in. I've been Celejus, and I will catch you next time.